So we talked about how our defense budget is like $860 billion. We're on our way to $1 trillion defense budget for the fifth year in a row, I believe. The Pentagon, the Defense Department, has failed yet another audit. Absolute garbage rags like The Hill will put out articles with headlines like this: Defense Department fails another audit, but makes progress. This is by Ellen Mitchell. Great job, Ellen. The Defense Department has failed its fifth ever audit, unable to account for more than half of its assets, but the effort is being viewed as a, quote, teachable moment, according to its chief financial officer. After 1,600 auditors combed through DoD's 3.5 trillion in assets and 3.7 trillion in liabilities, officials found that the department couldn't account for more than 61% of its assets. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars gets pumped into this place, and they can't account for the vast majority of it. Something similar is happening on a smaller scale with Ukraine. I forgot what the reported number was, but more than the majority of the weapons being sent to Ukraine are not getting to the troops, not getting to the right place. They're disappearing. Black market, corruption, wherever. Sinking to the bottom of the ocean, right? On the manifest, it fell off the ship, I guess. Pentagon Comptroller McCord said the department has made progress towards a clean audit the past year, but later added, "We failed to get an A." No, you, Jesus Christ. I would not say that we flunked. The process is important for us to do, and it's making us get better. It is not making us get better as fast as we want, he said. This year's outcome was not unexpected. Federal law since the early 1990s requires mandatory audits for all government agencies. Since fiscal year 2013, all but the Pentagon have been able to satisfy that requirement. It's been 32 years since the law was passed, or 30 odd years. The Pentagon has failed to do it. The sheer size and scope of the department, which makes up for more than half of the U.S. discretionary spending and has assets that range from personnel and supplies to bases and weapons, makes it difficult to audit. In December 2017, defense officials set out to scrutinize DoD's books, the first comprehensive audit of the agency in its history. The effort failed the next year and the four that followed. The agency had never expected to pass, however, due to accounting issues officials said could take years to fix. Let me skip a bunch of this and let's skip to the end here. He noted that Ukraine's ongoing war with Russia has offered DoD personnel a very teachable moment for us on the audit, and it allows them to picture the critical nature of precise tracking of weapons and equipment in the event of a conflict. We're failing at that right now. Like I was just saying, we have no idea where the shit is going to Ukraine, and the shit that we do want to get there, most of it is going to, ultra nationalist and Nazi battalions that were officialized in this post 2014 coup d'etat. That to me is a really great example of why it matters to get this sort of thing right, of counting inventory, knowing where it is and knowing when it is arriving, McCord said. They're not getting it right. This is a slush fund. This is, these endless wars are a washing of money. It's money laundering from our treasury to defense contractors to, businessmen and looters to the oil industry. It's a game. We're dominating resources, we're toppling governments, we're occupying areas to maintain our economic global empire. Covering the same topic, though, we have reasonable statecraft. This is a much better headline. This is how you write a fucking headline. The Pentagon fails its fifth audit in a row. If the Defense Department can't get its books straight, how can it be trusted with a budget of more than $800 billion per year? Great question. So, let me be clear. Even if they do manage to pass audits, it doesn't matter because it's all still a sham anyway. The Pentagon's budget isn't the only place where they're pumping money into this war economy. You have other ways. You have the black budget. You have the Department of the Interior or something, or someone else takes care of the nuclear program, which oversees the nuclear budget. So you could hide money that, even if they're audited properly, it's all still bullshit, right? But this is one part of the responsible statecraft article I did want to point out. Let me read. So will the Pentagon manage to get its financial house in order anytime soon? It's possible, if a bit unlikely. Despite the long odds, a bipartisan group of lawmakers led by Bernie Sanders proposed a bill last year that could help make that happen. The legislation would cut 1% off the top of the budget of any part of the Pentagon that fails an audit. That means that if the proposal had already passed, 20 of the agency's 27 auditing units would face a budget cut this year. Unfortunately, momentum around that bill appears to have fizzled out, leaving the Pentagon's accountants as the last line of defense. Per Comptroller McCord, the DoD hopes to finally pass an audit by 2027. They hope to do it by 2030, hopefully sometime. A mere 14 years after every other agency in the U.S. government blew past that milestone. That may coincide with another historical moment, according to Andrew Lautz of the National Taxpayers Union. We could reach a $1 trillion defense budget 5 years sooner than the CBO estimates in 2027. So we're marching towards $1 trillion. Even the most meek bills, right? Bernie Sanders wants to cut 1% off of any part of the Pentagon that fails an audit, right? So if this grouping in the Pentagon fails an audit, the Marine Corps, whatever you want to break it up as, right? They're going to lose 1% of their budget year over year until they get their shit straight, right? This is like the most menial slap on the wrist, because if there's an actual need for something, you just turn the spigot right back on, right? And their budget is so bloated anyway, and all of it's unaccounted for. It's all ridiculous. And that can't even keep momentum in our Congress, because who runs our Congress? The voters or Lockheed Martin? Let's be serious.